In the formative years of the Beatles, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were an unstoppable songwriting force, often crafting timeless hits side by side in Paul's childhood home on Forthlin Road or at John's Aunt Mimi's house on Menlove Avenue. But as the band evolved, so too did their creative process. By the late 1960s, their partnership had become more fragmented. Instead of writing songs together from start to finish, John and Paul began working separately, only meeting later to polish and finalize their creations. Still, every track they penned during their Beatles years carried the iconic Lennon-McCartney credit. But behind that label, the reality was often more complicated. One of the more telling examples of this shift is the 1968 White Album track, Why Don't We Do It in the Road? A raw, impulsive song written and recorded primarily by Paul McCartney. John Lennon later admitted the move stung. According to the Liverpool Echo, tensions were already high during the White Album sessions. So high, in fact, that back in the USSR, led to Ringo Starr temporarily quitting the band. Amidst all this, McCartney found inspiration in a rather unusual place, witnessing two monkeys mating in the streets of Rishikesh, India. That primal moment sparked the song's concept, and during a lull in the studio, Paul and Ringo decided to act. With John and George preoccupied on other tracks, Paul and Ringo slipped into Studio 3 at Abbey Road late one night. Paul later recounted the moment in his book, The Lyrics, writing, "We were mixing in Studio 2, but I was getting a bit fed up sitting around. Everyone had gone home. It was just me and Ringo. I wanted to do a let it all hang out kind of song, like a mantra." That impromptu session took place on October 9, 1968. The next day, they returned to layer in more vocals and drums, all while John and George were busy with Glass Onion. But John didn't take it lightly. In a candid 1980 interview with Playboy, Lennon recalled, "That's Paul. He even recorded it by himself in another room. That's how it was getting. We'd walk in and he'd already made the whole record. Him drumming, him playing piano, him singing." John admitted he liked the song, but the emotional impact lingered. "I was always hurt when Paul would knock something off without involving us. But that's just how it was then." Years later, Paul addressed those tensions, particularly after Yoko Ono suggested in an interview that Paul had hurt John more than anyone else. McCartney, visibly affected, responded, "No one ever talks about the times John hurt me." He defended his actions, clarifying that the road session wasn't malicious. "John and George were busy finishing something, and Ringo and I were just hanging out. So I said, let's go and do this. That's all it was." And Paul didn't hold back when comparing it to John's own solo move. John did the same with Revolution 9. But no one ever mentions that. John's always the nice guy, and I'm the B, asterisk disc asterisk disc asterisk D. That gets repeated over and over. Even Ringo weighed in, downplaying any drama. Referring to the Ballad of John and Yoko, which was recorded without him and George, Ringo shrugged. "Why don't we do it in the road? Was just Paul and me, and it went out as a Beatles track too. We had no problems with that."